Hi, and welcome back to the Ascension Playground. My name is Ursie, and today my special guest is Krista. Hi, Krista.
Hello, Ursie. How are you?
I'm good. You and I have been planning to have this little chat for quite a while, and I'm just delighted that here we are
Me too.
on the playground. So, we are going to today be talking a little bit about Krista's special gift working with readings for individuals who want to know a little bit more about their magical animal totem. So each of us has a particular guide that oftentimes will show up in an animal spirit or animal form. But before we get going on the playground, let's pull an animal card for our time together, Krista. And I'm going to share my screen. Here it is. So joining us on the playground is the Colette Baron-Reid Spirit Animal Oracle deck. Here it is. And we chose a card earlier, and this is who showed up for us. Number 8, Bobcat Spirit. And the message that Bobcat is bringing with us today, Krista, is that life is a mystery. The message of Bobcat is it moves furtively and mysteriously. And when Bobcat Spirit appears to us, she brings a powerful reminder that not all things in life can be explained or understood through the power of the intellect. Trying to figure things out, find logical explanations, or predict what will happen based on reason and facts will not provide us with the certainty and comfort we seek. Bobcat asks us to trust in the great mystery and let the secrets of the universe reveal themselves to us through direct experience. Wow, talk about a wonderful friend to join us. Thank you, Bobcat Spirit. What do you think about that, Krista?
That was a beautiful reading. That was so perfect for today and for what I've been doing, because I just don't know when I start what I'm going to get. And I have to totally just trust. And I see a blank screen or either dark or white screen in front of my inner vision. And then I just wait to see what comes. So it's perfect. The Bobcat is perfect because there's a lot of magic there and a lot of trust and letting go.
Wow, well, that leads me to my first question for you, because we like to get to know folks. So a little bit about your past. How is it that you came onto the spiritual path in particular, and how did these animal totem readings kind of evolve?
Okay, well, when I was 33, I had a young child, 2 children, and I would go and meditate overlooking the ocean every day. And I just felt like there should be something else going on. What is it? I love what I'm doing, but there's something else that's waiting for me. What is it? And finally, after 5 days, I was getting up from the stool at the kitchen counter, and I felt something enter my body and just fill me up with energy. And I had no idea what that was about. And all I could think to do was to take a piece of paper and a pen and start writing impressions. I wasn't hearing voices at first. I was just writing impressions, and they were strange. And I, just wrote and wrote and wrote. And I did that every day. And about 2 weeks later, I was in the bathtub. Well, obviously, I don't have a paper then. And I actually started hearing voices. And then I was hearing accents, and I was sort of telling them apart. And that was the beginning. And it was journaling, which I would recommend for anyone who wants to delve into their deeper selves and their guidance.
Oh, so let me see if I can summarize that a little bit so I understand it. So with 2 little children, something still was knocking inside you. And I've had that where you just go, okay, I either open the door or I just tell it to just stay locked up. I mean, you have a choice point, right?
Right, absolutely, absolutely a choice point. And I was so fascinated by what I started getting that I just kept doing it and trying to understand. And then I started getting names. I got the name of my guardian angel, my main guides, and so forth. And it was quite a ride.
So then when you actually put yourself in a bathtub or water, because I've read in the past where sometimes that water, whether you're in the shower or the tub, it has something to do within our field that kind of opens up, I don't know, this pathway. Do you think that
That
water?
is so true. And I've done readings for several people that ended up being a seal. And the seal is about diving deep and going with your intuition and your deeper knowing. So that's exactly what you were just saying. And that's true. I hadn't connected to the bathtub until then, until you just said it.
But I love how you chose to start, with what some would maybe call automatic writing, where you just like, okay, just like the apostles sometimes, and that inspiration comes. In the old days, they would say in the Bible that they were inspired. So I imagine you just allowed this energy to come through you, but you chose writing or this energy.
Right. Well, I didn't know what else to do. It was the first thing that came to my mind to do because I knew I had to do something with it. Or, as you said, I could have shut it off. And it was interesting that it started in the kitchen because the kitchen symbolically is where you cook things up, right?
I love that. I love that. The center of the home, like the hearth in a
Yeah.
certain way. Okay, so that's the past, and it sounds like you've been doing this for decades. And then the animals. So can you explain for us now in present day 2022, Krista, what's happened since then as far as your journeying with working with someone and finding their animal?
Well, it's been fascinating and absolutely the most fun I've ever had, except for writing my 2 books, which was also the most fun. And what's fun about it is that it doesn't come with any plan. It generally doesn't come with any knowledge of the person. In fact, if I know the person, it's much harder because I have to fight what I already know about the person or put that aside, which is more difficult. But I get things for people I've never met and probably never will meet. And it's turned out to be friends of friends of friends and relatives across the country. And it's fascinating because they're not just, well, this is your animal. It's not like, hi, I'm a this, but it really goes into the depth. It goes into what I ask for is what animal are you? If you'll show me yourself, tell me what you're about, tell me how this connects with the person, and then any advice you have for the person. So it's kind of like a little mini therapy that these animals seem to be doing for people, which is exciting. And because it's totally unknown to me what's going to come up. It's like starting a painting without any idea what you're doing.
So let's do this. I found you through a friend at the park, Maya, and then she's a friend of your daughter's. And then Maya just said, she had her animal totem reading that you hand wrote on her wall. And she goes, you and Krista talk the same language. You would do well connecting with Krista. And so the rest is history. And you gave me a reading, but when we talked earlier, you said you brought an example of one of the readings. So walk us through a little bit, if you don't mind. So you just need someone's first name, middle name, and last name to tap into their energy. And an email to send it to them. Is that correct?
That's it. I've stopped handwriting because it just takes forever. And I'm somewhere around 200 or more readings now. Yeah. So there's no way I could. So I use the microphone. It makes mistakes. I correct them and then I send it on.
So why don't we go ahead and hear one of the readings as a sample then, if you don't mind? I think that would be
okay. I will change the person's name here. And this is a person I've never met, a friend of a friend of a friend. Octopus. I call and I see the large head and the tentacles of an octopus. Well, this is a first. Octopus. Are you Anna's animal spirit guide, her totem? Both, yes, and a surprise for you, I'm sure. We octopi are among both the most tactile and the most intellectually savvy of Earth and species. As hermaphroditic in our own way as any known for it. We are changeable, you see, able to match our environments perfectly. Our camouflage, our ink, providing protection, providing a cover. We adapt easily to any circumstance. We can hide, can expand. We can seemingly, in all directions at once, see seemingly. It's our intuitive intelligence, you see. Our Anna is a wily one for a human. She can take on different aspects of herself in different circumstances, both for cover and for interest. A rather natural born actor, you see. Her changeability is both her protection and, in the way of Octopus, her joy. It is a fun way to play for a human, that which is quite natural for the octopus. And her ink, if you will, confuses others who have realized, who she has realized, don't deserve her. Teach her and float with us in the seas of your glorious mind and spirit.
Wow, wow. So let me back up a little bit. So there could be someone you don't know, and you just get the first, middle, and last name. And then tell us the process you go through to tune into these kinds of beautiful little stories and messages that come through.
Well, my process is merely I look and I'll ask several times the back of a seal, and then I saw its face. So I knew it was seal. And then I asked for the message, and it said who it was, what it was about, which is about the deep dive into intuition, basically, and playfulness. But it was, I hear it as if I know I'm doing the translating. I don't think seals speak English, but I know I'm translating. But I do get very different feelings from each one that I do. The octopus was very intelligent. You felt that intelligence of the octopus. And it's just fascinating. And then so I just write it all out, and then I double check if there's a word or a sentence. I go back and say, is this what you mean? Do you wish to change anything? And then that's that. And then so I write it all down, and then I type it up and send it. And that's the process.
Wow. Now, do you think it's harder to read for people you know versus people you don't know?
Very much harder. Yeah, because I have my own preconceived notions. And so when an animal comes in, sometimes I go, really? I would never have guessed that. Or I would assume something, and then I would wait for it and it wouldn't happen. And when I have to go over and over to make sure that, yes, that's correct. But you, of course, Ursie, were easy because your name is Ursula, and Ursa Major and Ursa Minor are the bears in the sky. So that was easy. Not that I had any expectation.
So do you find that happens a lot? Let's say someone's name is Angela. Would an angel show up, or an animal that tries to look like an angel? Do you see that the name of someone influences the animals that come through?
No, not at all. Not at all. But I have gotten angels coming in, the guardian angels or a guide. And it seems to be when there's needed by the person an extra layer of information, an extra layer of compassion or understanding, and someone to call on, because the angels and the guides will give me a name and I write it down. And so then the person can call on their own, besides their own animal totem, they can call on their angel or guide themselves if I get that. But I just go with what happens.
I love this. It's almost like what a gift to be able to bring messages through animal spirits that oftentimes aren't threatening. Like, have you ever though had a great white shark or some kind of?
Well, I had a snake last week, which was something. It was great because it's about life force energy, kundalini, and transformation as they shed their skin. But I first saw the snake wiggling around, and then I said, "Snake, is that you?" And I saw a cobra in my face. So like, whoa. And I've had some of the animals. Like one time when I was in bed, I saw a cougar come right up in my face. So I mean, sometimes it's very, very clear, and very, very much I'm right there. Spiders, I'll be right close to the web, or I had ants running over my body one time.
Hopefully they weren't red ants, biting.
No, no, I didn't start itching.
Wow. Has a message like a prophetic message or a warning ever come through for the individual that you're reading with the animals? Or do they stay at that very high level of the person?
They're always at the very high level, and I wouldn't say a warning, but it just they give very good advice if the person needs it, as far as first having compassion for yourself and then consider this or consider that. So it's just exactly what each person needs. And some just need a pat on the back. You're doing a great job. Some need, to remember, wow, this is where you want to be. And remember when you have this feeling to switch back to being in the present moment from concentrating on the past, messages like that.
Yeah. Well, I think I heard you say you've done about 200 or so readings.
Yeah, I think so.
But would you say that some of the animals overlap? So are there over 100 animals, would you say?
No, I wouldn't say there are well over 100. Yeah, there's not, there's some that come more common. There's more dogs and cats. There's a certain number of seals, which is about intuition, and cats are about independence, and dogs are about love and loyalty and protection, But what I found very interesting with all of this is that the readings are each different. Even if it's the same animal, there'll be different things emphasized that the person needs. So they'll have the same basis, but they'll have a peculiarity that's just for that person.
Well, as you say that, I'm happy to share that in my reading, and I didn't know Krista, the first thing she sees is this big butt. It's a big brown bear butt. And it was like, huff, like, why are you bothering me? I think I was in my cave or probably eating berries. I don't know, but it's the big brown bear, but you were introduced to my backside. What does that mean?
Well, probably your natural sense of humor was going to be engaged by that reading.
Well, it did get me wondering, we have 2 corgis, and I named the first one with my daughter Teddy Bear. The second one came 3 years later, and she's Sophie Bear.
Oh, that's funny.
And I'm always considered like the mama bear. So I'm like, well, we got the 3 bears. Now where's Goldilocks?
Here I am, except my hair's gotten a little darker.
Yeah. Well, I gotta say, it's fascinating how you can read people's energies or bring through these high level messages. But do you find, do you track the lunar phases? And if you do, are there certain times that messages come through easier or no?
Well, generally mid-afternoon is always a good time for me, but it just depends. When I first get up, I generally don't read. I don't, listen and write down. But anyway, any other time, it doesn't seem to be astrologically fixed, because what I do is, like, when I don't have one to read, I go, oh no, I don't have one to read, and then I'll text anymore. I'm dry now.
Oh, well, you were sweet. You helped read for my whole, you called it brood, my whole family. And so it was fun to see, here's mine, but I can see my children usually a little more easily than I can see myself or my husband. So it's fascinating when you do find an animal that you haven't seen before show up.
Yeah, I know. When I first got beaver, I was very surprised, and there was the big teeth, and it was about building the home and creating the home and recreating it if you had to move or it was destroyed for some reason. But just the home was the important thing, and the persistence of creation in that. So that was really interesting to me.
I think we talked about this too, where sometimes in your life, you don't just have the one totem for your whole life, correct? Like sometimes you might have another one show up. So I almost look at it like the Native American Indian totem poles, like it's your collective animal group that might show up. So when do animals typically change or a new one come in? Have you seen a pattern there?
Oh, yes. Well, let's say, and I'm very quiet. You can hear it in my throat when I start to talk about this. It's not easy to talk about. But I was having a kind of difficult time, and I wasn't really speaking up for myself. So what did I get? It came in as a totem, the skunk. The skunk is about, I'm sweet, I'm cute, I'm just everything you'd want, but don't cross me.
If other people talking, run.
Yeah, run. Right.
Wow, that's fascinating. Well, I'm sure he won't mind my sharing, but my husband got the gecko, and I think that was a new animal for you.
Yes, it was.
Is there anything more you want to elaborate around a gecko? Because a bear you can kind of get. It's kind of the go into your cave, there's the creative time, there are these hibernations, but the gecko.
Right. I honestly don't remember what the gecko said because I just was seeing the gecko walking all over the ceiling and doing things and the agility and the ability to kind of break barriers, I would suppose, that normal people, humans have. So I guess that was it. I honestly, I don't remember. It was strange though. And I just got an ant again. I got an ant 20 years ago, and I got an ant, and it was for a young girl, and like, I don't know if she's 11 or 12, and her mom asked me to get it. And I haven't heard back from the mother left it yet if she liked that one or not. But it was about, ants can carry more than their own weight. And there's no animal that's a bad animal.
Right. Well, that's interesting you say that. Whether we like our animal or not, it's really they're carrying a message. And if we're open to that metaphor, to allowing that to go into us, what it helped me do was when I saw the backside of the brown bear was like, turn around. Maybe this is time to now go out and explore and start sharing. So creating the Ascension Playground with two friends and meeting you right away saying, we got to get you on the playground because animals are so easy for kids, for our inner children to relate to.
Yeah.
Well, so going forward, Krista, let's just, why don't you go ahead and share what you need to receive from people again and your email. And I'll, when this goes posted, I'll write it in the chat room as well.
Okay. So all I need is the first, middle, and last name, the current name, not what you were born with if you're going by something different. And that's just so the animal can find you. If it's a John Smith, good luck, right? And then I need your email so that I can send you your message. And depending on how busy I am, hopefully it'll be soon.
That is sweet. So to reach Krista, if you want to send your information, her email is tipperwillow, TIPPER, willow @yahoo.com. So tipperwillow@yahoo.com. If you can't hear this, you're not sure of the email, just go ahead in the chat box, write your name and share your email if you'd like, and I can make sure to hook you up with Krista to see what your magical totem animal is for today. So, wow, Krista, I'm hoping you'll come back and let's talk about your 2 books next time. Would you like to do
Okay. Yeah, I'd love to. That'd be fun. That was the other best fun I ever had, 200 rewrites or 200,000 rewrites, and just over and over. And each time I was just like, oh, it's getting better. Oh, I'm having fun. And so that's the last thing I'd like to say is that if you have something that you love to do, I just got canary for someone who turns out she's a singer and she's trying to decide whether to go into physics or singing in college. And I didn't know this before I got Sparrow for her. And it was like, follow your song. So, we should all do just what makes our hearts sing, and the world will support us, this new world we're entering into.
That is a great message to share. And let's bring Bobcat back in to say life is a mystery. And so good for you to answer that knocking within yourself, to explore working within the veil and the energies, to give these gifts to people so that they can understand what their magical totem animal is in this now moment.
Well, thank you for having me on, Ursula. It truly is the most fun for me.
Oh, well, you are welcome, and we hope to see you again soon. But for now, thanks everybody for joining us, and see you soon, Krista.
Bye-bye.